Welcome to Reshair on ESPN 730. For the next hour, your host, Chris Reshaar, will bring fresh air to your financial needs. Excite, educate, and empower you to make sound financial decisions. Chris is a seasoned, licensed mortgage consultant with Movement Mortgage, equal housing lender, originator license number 117266. Now, here's your host, Chris Reshaar.
Welcome to Reshair Radio. We're back for another Sunday morning. Hopefully you have listened to the show before and you are a fan. But if you haven't, this is your first time listening, let me tell you what Reshair Radio is all about. My name is Chris Reshaar. Obviously, thus we have Reshair. And I'm a licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage. And about 2.5 years ago, the owners of a real estate radio network came into Charlotte and they were scouting for a personality to do a show on real estate finance, etc., in our Charlotte market, and they put 10 of us in a room, and I was the only one who said, yeah, I think I want to do that. And here we are 2.5 years later of running a great show here with our help and our partners over at ESPN 730. And each and every week we bring on expert contributors that come in and they share their expertise. They help sponsor Reshair Radio. We also bring in local guests who are really experts in their professions, but just come in once in a while. And we've got some great really guest contributors today that will be on the show. So really we talk about what's going on in real estate, finance, insurance, financial planning, all kinds of stuff. And I bring in these contributors and guests to really, help make the show really a show with variety and expertise, so that you can gain some knowledge and learn a little bit more each time you listen to our show. So we're going to jump into introducing our guest today. So first we're going to kick off and welcome Kevin Rayan with ERA Wilkinson Realty. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, Chris?
Awesome. Welcome back, Kevin. Right? You've been on the show before. He is a repeat offender.
Yeah, I've been here before.
You've been here before. It was right when we were first kicking off Reshair Radio. I think you were probably one of the first guinea pigs, right?
That's awesome. Okay.
So, but welcome back. We've been working together for a number of years, and so Kevin, what I'd like to do is get our guests to really understand who you are. So tell us a little bit about your experience in real estate.
Well, I've been in real estate since 2010, and I did it immediately after returning from a tour duty in Iraq.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I was just looking for something to keep me local and, a career that I can help people and just continue serving. So I've been in real estate for that long, just working with buyers, sellers, and at the time I got into the business, there was a lot of foreclosures and short sales, so I have experience in that too. But I continue helping, buyers and sellers and relocation clients at this time. So.
Got it. So you obviously 7 years in the business, and you work both North and South Carolina.
Yes.
So you straddle the states, right?
Yeah, I actually live in South Carolina right now, but I lived in Uptown Charlotte for many years, so I do both sides of
the market pretty well. And you said just stay local, but you're all over local because there's no such thing as a realtor just staying local because you're all over local because you're taking people everywhere.
Correct, yes.
So tell us, how did you really get started in real estate?
Well, I started with one of the companies here that have a really great training program. So I took the course. I went to the school. When I finished, I started really small. I started part-time at first for like about 6 months, but then I took a nosedive and I did it full-time for a while. And after a few years, I got established by word of mouth mostly, and through repeat clients. So I felt comfortable to move to a different firm and never looked back. It's been a great experience.
Good, awesome. Well, I know from working with you over many years, your style and the way that you handle your client is really with a lot of care, a lot of concern, a lot of patience.
Thank you.
Your clients just say that you are one of the nicest, people they've ever met. So that's good stuff.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
So now we're going to introduce our next guest, Julie Legge with Charlotte Real Estate Photography. Did I say that right?
Charlotte Real Estate Photos.
Photos.
Yes.
Oh, I can't read. Charlotte Real Estate Photos. So Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be here today?
Very.
Awesome.
My first time.
First time. And actually, this is the first time we've had a photographer on the show in the last 2.5 years. So
Cool.
I've been kind of excited to have you on.
Great.
Because we really talk around the topic when you're talking about real estate and selling homes, and when a photo being the first impression, there's a lot that weaves in about photography. So we're really going to dive deeper a little bit later into how that ties into real estate. But before we do so, tell me a little bit about your experience and then maybe how you got into this field.
Sure. My background is in commercial real estate, marketing, and communications, and I used to hire real estate photographers to back in the film days to take pictures of the shopping centers.
You mean when they used to go in the dark room and hang the pictures up?
They did.
For millennials, that you probably don't know what that is.
Exactly right. So then came digital, and I splurged for a nice camera, and my real estate contacts started asking me to take pictures of their listings. And the more I looked into it, the more I saw a need and a business opportunity. So that was in 2009, and I have grown my business since then.
So it really kind of happened almost by default. Like people were asking you for help. Like, hey, by the way, since you do real estate pictures for commercial, can you do my residential stuff too, right?
They did.
Cool.
And word got around, and so here I am. It's been great.
So what do you like most about being a photographer?
I like the artistic part of it, but I also like, from a practical standpoint, being half in the field and half at my computer. In the days past in commercial real estate with the marketing part, I was a lot behind my computer, so this is a great balance for me. And I also love meeting new people. I meet new people every single day, so that's been fantastic.
I thought you were going to say you love going to see people's houses.
I do love that.
Yeah, because I know my wife likes that part.
Oh,
she likes to see
houses. I get
houses.
to see the trends in Charlotte and in the areas around here, and that's really cool to see what people do with their homes. And
yeah.
So that's where.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So before we sort of roll out to our theme today, Kevin, I'm going to shift over to you and ask you why don't you give our listeners, for those of you that have not listened to our show before, sort of a quick recap on what you see happening in our Charlotte metro real estate market, which includes Fort Mill. We'll let you include that, man.
Yeah. Well, we're still in a seller's market right now.
What's that mean? What does that mean?
So that means that we actually have low inventory in the market.
Okay.
We have more buyers than sellers out there. So if you're thinking about selling your home, or you're thinking, when is the good time to sell? I would say right now.
And if you call now, you'll get a free set of steak knives, right?
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, it's been really a busy summer for us. Just to give you an example, I had one listing that within I put it on the market in the morning. Within lunchtime, I had 6 offers on it.
Wow,
and
that's by lunch, folks. You realize it's only like 3 hours.
Right, and one of them was they haven't even stepped foot in the house. They just wanted that home in that neighborhood.
Oh.
And it really depends on the neighborhood too. So if the neighborhood's in demand, you're going to see a lot of traffic, a lot of activities. We have been selling at average days on market. It's about 50 days versus 120 days like it used to be.
Right. That's fast.
Yeah.
Because that includes all homes.
Right. But a lot of neighborhoods are experiencing a week, 7 days, 6 days, that kind of thing. It's not impossible to do. Of course, you have to find a good real estate agent.
Right. And a lender that can close a loan quickly.
And a lender that can close and that's very important, Chris. No, that's very important, Chris, because if you don't have a lender that's willing, ready, and able to give you what you need right away, you may miss out on on an offer, and you'll be at a disadvantage if we can't get you that maybe pre-approval letter right away.
Yep. So I'm going to jump in here real quick, Kevin, and for listeners that are just catching on to our theme here, we're going to be talking quite a bit about real estate and how hot the market is. If there's anything of interest that you need to learn more about from the 3 professionals here on air this morning, you can give me a call at 704-277-4463. That's 704-277-4463. 4463. Even a text will work, and you can just say, I need Kevin, I need Chris, or I need Julie, whether it's photography, mortgage, or real estate. And we're happy to answer any questions. We'll get back to you by the beginning of the week and make sure that we address any questions, concerns, or if you need help with any of these services. That's why we're here. We do a great show every week. We educate, but we also want to help good people in our market make sure they get the service levels that they deserve. So anyway, so just want to make sure they knew how to get a hold of us, Kevin. So yes. You're right. The market is still continues to be very hot in our local marketplace in terms of, people that want to sell a home. It's not super hard to sell a home if you have a marketable property. I myself bought a home just a few years back, and my wife had went to see the property. They put the offer in. We won the bid. There were multiple offers on the property, and then I called the realtor and I say, by the way, I'd like to go see the house because I haven't yet seen the house that we just put an offer on and won the bid on because it was going so fast, right, that my wife had seen it. She said yes. We signed the offer, and the realtor says, oh, my gosh, I forgot that you haven't even seen the house yet. So, that's the kind of readiness that you need to, you have to be ready. It's like pull the trigger and then aim and fire, right? It's like opposite order, but you really we're going to be talking about things that you can do to sort of be ready to go. In terms of getting ready to have your home sell and what strategies, and we can talk a little bit about buyer strategies as well as we weave through the show today. But we're going to take a quick break. Again, you're listening to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, and please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know it has been reported that an estimated 80% of Americans have credit inaccuracies on their credit reports? Most people that have either inaccuracies or existing items that can be negotiated or adjusted do not know what their best score could be until they have found a new home or buying a new car or applying for a credit card. Then it's too late, and they have to accept a higher interest rate or lose the opportunity altogether. The time to work on improving your credit score is before you need it. Whether you have a 440, 640, or even a 740 FICO score, there is always room for improvement. The National Credit Care Team is comprised of individuals dedicated to helping the millions of consumers plagued by credit inaccuracies, errors, and fraud. It is our mission to help inform consumers and alleviate the stress of working with creditors and credit bureaus. Together, we can maximize your scores to get the best interest rates possible and save you money. Call now, 303-747-6390. That's 303-747-6390. Or visit us at www.nationalcreditcare.com. Sports fans know that the key to winning the big game is going in prepared. Right now, houses are selling fast. So if you're in the market for a new home purchase, don't just be prepared, be Movement Mortgage prepared. Charlotte's leading mortgage lender, Chris Reshatar at Movement Mortgage, will tee you up with a free, fully underwritten upfront pre-approval. Shop for the home of your dreams, already backed by an upfront pre-approval at Movement Mortgage. Call Chris today at 704-277-4463 or find Chris at www.themortgagegenius.com. Go into the game prepared with Chris Reshatar of Movement Mortgage.
Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, and we are here for another episode. If you've never listened to the show, we bring in area experts and all kinds of great people. We really talk about real estate, finance, insurance, financial planning, etc. And today we've got two great guests here in the studio, and we're getting ready to roll out our theme for this particular segment. We're really going to be talking about 9 strategies to selling your home fast. Kevin Rayan's here with ERA Wilkinson and Associates. Did I get that right?
No, it's
Wilkinson ERA. Man, I always get it back.
Yeah, Wilkinson ERA.
See, and why am I doing this show? It's like I can't get it right. Julie Legge, and tell us you're from Charlotte.
Charlotte
Real Estate Photos, because I said photography last time. So you think the show host would get these things right, but it's just okay. It's all good. It's all good. So let's jump into our theme here. We've got, again, 9 strategies for selling your home fast. And Kevin, really, I'm going to lean on you for quite a bit of this, with you being the realtor in the studio here today. And I think the first thing that you had said was you really, if you're getting ready to sell your house, you really need to have your home ready on the exterior in terms of getting that curb appeal and the exterior ready to go. What kinds of things does someone that wants to sell a home list their house with you to have that exterior curb appeal ready?
Chris, really the first thing you need to do is that you need to make a plan, and I tell my clients that make a plan to prepare your home to sell, and that's really overall. As soon as you make that decision, you want to look at everything that your house needs to have done to it to make it ready for the market. And you mentioned the curb appeal. Obviously, you want to paint the front door, the trim, do some refreshment in the front yard, put some flowers, make it, mow the grass, make it ready for showings, because let me tell you, the first 1 second or 2 seconds when somebody drive up to your property and take a look, that is very crucial, because they're going to have a good or bad first impression about your home. You shouldn't have anything laying out in the yard or anything like that. And also, see if you can trim the bushes back where it's not blocking any windows or doors or anything like that. Some of us, we never use the front door to get in. So
That's right.
You'll see some cobwebs and all kinds of, weird creatures out there. Make sure that's cleaned up, and make sure you have a very nice brand new doormat in the front that's welcoming. Maybe power wash the driveway, power wash maybe even the house and the windows.
Power wash.
But just make sure you use somebody who's experienced, because if you use a power wash, you can damage the window seals and some of the windows if you don't know what you're doing.
Or peel the paint right off.
Right. And so make sure you use somebody that knows what they're doing.
That's never happened to me.
And have the windows cleaned, and remove anything, toys, anything out of the front porch. Just make it look like it's a model home. That's your goal.
Right. We had a house recently listed for sale in our neighborhood, and it previously been a rental, and the sign went up, and like the beds have weeds growing up out of it. The mulch hasn't been refreshed in a long time, and I just thought, really, these people are going to put this house on the market? Not that it won't sell because it's a good market, but what kind of first impression is that listing going to really get? So, all right. Well, those are great suggestions that you had there. Did you mention about the bushes too?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The bushes. That's one of the things that I often think you can't even see in these windows, folks. Let's trim your bushes back, make your house look manicured and fresh and ready. So, all right, cool. Let's go to number 2, the second strategy that we've identified to help you sell your home extremely fast.
Well, we talked.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we talked about doing a deep cleaning to your home.
And you do that for free for all your customers, right, Kevin?
Possibly. Possibly. But, deep cleaning is really important. And I'm not talking about just kind of do a general cleaning like you do every day or every weekend, but really dig in there and, get on your hands and knees, do the baseboards and, everything. It really needs to be in the best case scenario, looking like a model home, because once you decide to sell your home, unfortunately, it doesn't really become just your home. It becomes a product that needs to be presented in the best way possible in the marketplace. Julie,
do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I totally agree with that. It's becomes a product, and then the photography can help market that product for you.
Right.
So.
Absolutely, and we'll talk a little more about that here in just a minute or two. But I do notice that I think with the onset of HGTV, and we have a lot of buyers in the marketplace that they're not only expecting your house to sort of be freshened up, but they're really almost expecting perfection, because you see they take this old house that's rickety and beams need to be knocked out and walls need to be moved, and the next thing you know, it looks like a brand new home. So you have buyers going in today going, wow, this is outdated and this is dirty. This is, people have this sort of phenomenon that's happening has almost made it even worse for that buyer coming in with a critical eye. But bottom line is, nobody wants to move into a house with somebody else's dirt in it. Nor do you when you move out of your home into a new home. You want it nice and clean and top shape. So, all right, let's go to number 3 in terms of one of the 9 steps to sell your home fast. What's number 3?
Well, you want to declutter as much as possible, And when I say declutter, anything that you're not using on a daily basis, I mean, just go ahead and move it. Either
It's an emergency. You need to declutter.
yes, it is an emergency.
Sorry,
So-
folks, if you could hear that, but there are local emergencies that happen during show recordings.
Right.
But anyway,
So decluttering means you don't want the buyer when they first walk in to be distracted by anything in the house that could just take their eyes away from what's being sold to something that's irrelevant. So if you have like a lot of stuff on on the mantle over the fireplace, just go ahead and remove it and just put one little item to kind of highlight what you're selling. Put a nice maybe painting over the fireplace. Just very few items. And unfortunately, you're going to have to remove any personal stuff having paintings that are done by your kids are really cute and nice and sweet to have when your home is not on the market. But when it's on the market, I tell my clients, remove any magnets that you have on the fridge because that's a distraction. It's just going to take away from actually touring
you're just
the
trying
home.
to depersonalize it so that the
Right.
person walking through the property can see themselves
Mm-hmm.
and their life in the space and not be distracted by your hobbies
Right.
and your family photos.
Yes.
It doesn't mean remove everything, but
No.
you want to thin it out, right?
Right. And also like furniture, if you have way too much furniture, take a piece or two out. You don't need to have everything in there. And unfortunately, they may require you to get a storage space somewhere, but that will eventually pay off because you're going to find yourself selling the home much faster than you anticipated. And also removing, unfortunately, like toys. A lot of us have a lot of toys in the home. You might need to lock up some of these toys away, or when the house is being shown, not have them all over the place outside.
Sure. And I think decluttering also, really we see that a common strategy is really to thin out the closets, right? Because people can't tell how big a walk-in closet is if you can barely walk in it because it's overfilled
Oh, yes.
with clothes from 15 years ago
Right.
that you were hoping to fit back in someday, right?
Yeah.
It's take out anything that's not in season, put it in some boxes, tuck it away, and open the closet space out. Even just people, believe it or not, when they go in your house, they'll open up the silverware drawer,
Yep.
and they're going to open up the fridge. They're going to open up your pantry. Thin out, clean out, make it so that they can envision their stuff in the space and that there's plenty of room for their space, right? That's the bottom line. That's what decluttering really is.
That's right, and it has to touch every single room in your house, to include the bathrooms. So you cannot have tons of toothpaste and toothbrushes and everything just covering, the counter in the bathtub or even in the kitchen. Just take out anything that you don't need right away. The counter space needs to be very visible, and the less stuff on the counter spaces, the more room you're going to see in the house, or the buyer will perceive that there's more room, in the house.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else on decluttering before we move to strategy number 4? We're good? I
Sounds
think
great.
we're good. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Well, actually, what we'll do is we'll jump into introducing strategy 4, and then we'll probably end up taking a quick break here shortly. So we maybe just get into it. So number 4 is considering staging the interior of your home. And so why don't we talk a little bit about what a home stager is? We'll take a quick break from after we do that. So Kevin, tell us what a home stager is from your perspective.
Well, a home stager is a professional that have the experience, knowledge, and education to get your home ready for the market, to stage it the best way possible, and help you declutter. Actually, that's a lot of what they do, and transform your home from just a house, your home, into a product that is ready for the market. And they do a great job, and it's really worth the money to have them. And I may add, after staging, you really need to have a professional photographer to come in
and then take the
and
pictures.
Take the pictures
after.
Immediately after the staging when the house is at its best.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand this, but professional photography on your listing is very, very important. That is that first impression the buyer will see out there in the marketplace, on the internet, or anywhere they can look at your home. So you don't want dark pictures, out of focus pictures, or pictures that have things that should not be seen on a listing. You'll be surprised some of the pictures I've seen out there and what's in the background. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump back in for our next component here. Again, you're listening to Reshair Radio. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
When choosing an insurance agency, you want a company you can trust. We are an independent insurance agency that can protect your personal assets, including your home, your business assets, as well as health and insurance needs. A true one-stop solution provider. We do not work for an insurance company. We work for you. As an independent insurance agency, our duty is to our clients' best interests. It is our responsibility to provide you the best service and the best coverage at the best possible price. You will have the added benefit of working with agents who understand your needs. After visiting our website, we will schedule an exploratory appointment to discuss your specific needs. Please visit our website at www.movementinsurance.com. That's www.movementinsurance.com.
Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshatar, licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage. If you're just tuning into our show, we're talking here with Kevin Rayan from Wilkinson ERA and Julie Legge from Charlotte Real Estate Photos. I got it. I'm getting it. It's taken me a little while to get all that down, folks. If you have been listening, you know I've been fumbling over my words. But nonetheless, we've been talking really about 9 different strategies that you can follow in order to sell your home quickly. And in our marketplace, the market is very strong anyway, but you want to be able to sell it the right way, sell it properly, and really to get top dollar and sell it fast, you should really consider employing these strategies. So Kevin, we just sort of wrapped up step number 4, which was really about home staging and considering working with a professional stager to have your home really look amazing. And I think we've both seen, at least in our careers, where some people have old and outdated furniture and they will bring in all new and fresh furniture and make your house up to date. And some people have a home they've already moved out of and it's vacant and they just need something in there to make the house look a little more friendly, a little more livable, right?
Yeah.
But they're definitely worth talking with, and we've had a stager support our show here at Reshair Radio over many, many months that I typically would recommend. But let's kind of roll into number 5, which is you need to really consider doing professional photography to really display that home before you sell it and put it on the marketplace. And Julie, if you want to take a quick minute and tell us a little bit about your thoughts on what people can do, sort of the must-dos to have the house ready for professional photography. And Kevin, you can talk about the value of it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, your first impression is what you see on the internet typically, right?
That's exactly right. Studies have shown that most people, when they're looking for a home, they're going to turn to the internet first. So it's super important to have a good impression right off the bat. And I agree with Kevin. My number 1 tip for people is just to declutter the home. And you can go ahead and get the staging finished and the decluttering finished and get everything ready, because the photography really is the dress rehearsal for the showings. And so you want to have everything ready, and when you get the photography back, it's ready for the market.
There you go. So what are some of the things that you would have people do? I know that you have a nice sort of list of things that people should do before you come in.
I do.
So that they can be photo ready.
That's right. It is declutter, and to add to that, put away personal effects. You may consider putting away tissue boxes, prescription medications, soap, toothpaste. I would think anything really with some heavy branding on it, you want to tuck that away under the cabinets and keep that in the back. Also, tuck waste baskets away. maybe some
Yeah, nobody wants to take a picture of the bathroom to see a big trash can that's overloaded.
Or towels hanging.
Or towels, especially. It's nice to have, and the stager can confirm this, but it's nice to have some fresh white towels.
Right.
If you've got some old dirty towels, you want to put those away and just not have them out. It's better to have no towels than anything. So,
Right.
yeah. I would also, bath mats. A lot of times I will remove the bath mats just based on the agent's recommendations, especially if there's tile underneath. Or rugs in a foyer. If you've got nice hardwoods, you can remove the area rugs just to show off the
feature of the wood floor,
flooring.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So anything that it might hide a feature, you want to remove that.
Okay.
I also tend to advise people to take away anything that says pets. We all love our pets, but we don't necessarily love other people's pets.
Right.
So a buyer may come in and not necessarily want to see dog beds or food bowls, cat litter boxes. So we try to remove those and not have those in the pictures.
Good suggestions,
Yeah.
especially on the litter box.
Yes. Absolutely.
Cool. What else? What else you got for us?
Well, when a photographer arrives, it's best to have your cars parked away from the home, either put them in the garage or put them on the street so that I can get a great front elevation without your car in the driveway. There's a lot of tips to have, and I do have them on my website, and I've got a resources page for home sellers. You can look at other tips just by, I would say, go to Pottery Barn, the website, or go to some other home design websites just to kind of get a feel for what homes look like, or model homes. You can visit model homes to see how they declutter and the types of things that they do leave in their house that make things photo ready.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Awesome. Anything else you want to share with our listeners in terms of just tips to have the house ready to go?
I would just keep in mind that this is a dress rehearsal for the showings. And so I would ask your experienced realtor what type of things that they advise. Talk to your stager. I do arrive and I do offer some advice, but ideally it's pretty ready to go when I come in.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, especially if you're using a stager, there really
Yes.
isn't much need for the tips and counsel because the stager's already considering these things.
Yes.
I've had a listing where I thought it's going to be ready by the time we brought the photographer in, and unfortunately that photographer spent a lot of time moving things around, and they shouldn't really be put in that position. You really need to try to be imaginative and move things around where the pictures are going to be at their best. Remember, the listing photos of your home will be responsible for bringing the most amount of people, especially the first few days of the listing,
Right.
especially if you're having an open house for the first time. That's what's going to attract people to come out and wait, spend their time on your open house. I mean, that's very important, because if the pictures look really good, then
People will come.
People will come. And how many times, pictures can really make a world of difference, even at listings that really they're not that nice on the inside, because I've had clients who are like, oh my gosh, the pictures look much better than what we're seeing right now.
Right,
So,
it's kind of like doing glam shots for your
Yes.
house, right?
So the
Remember those
pictures-
places in the mall?
Sure
Yeah.
do.
You would walk out and the women would walk out and their hair was 6 times bigger than it normally
Right.
would be.
Right. Just imagine if the
Love it.
pictures and the home match and everything looks great. You will find a buyer sooner rather than later.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I think we definitely talked about photography. Julie, why don't you just quickly, since this is a great time to do it, in case somebody needs to get a hold of you, we're talking about photography, what would be a great place for them to connect with you?
Sure. My website is charlotterealestatephotos.com, and I have my phone number on the website. Is it okay to share?
Yeah, absolutely.
704-287-9628, and that's my direct cell phone. And I basically book appointments through text, email, on my website, and phone calls.
And phone calls. There
Yeah.
you go. Great. So if
I'll
you
take
need
it
a
all.
photographer, you're getting ready to sell your home here at some point in the future, definitely encourage you to consider working with Julie. All right, let's move to strategy number 6, which is consider doing a pre-inspection. So if you've listened to our show before, we have Home Inspection Carolina. Preston Sandlin, who is the president and a good friend of mine,
Great
is
company.
awesome company, who is a good friend of mine again, is one of our Reshair Radio Show expert contributors and sponsors. And he's on here all the time talking about, we talked about rate on gas a couple of weeks ago. Well, anyway, a pre-inspection is something that his company, Home Inspection Carolina, can do. And basically, that means you're getting ready to sell your home instead of waiting for the buyer to come along after the house has been put on the market and them to have their inspector discover that the HVAC system has a crack in the handler, that maybe you could have that discovered in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And then shop around to get a competitive price to fix it.
Right.
And really make sure you have that house ready to go. Because if you're under contract and you're closing in 30 days and you find out 2 weeks into the transaction you have a repair issue, you're lucky to find somebody that can get out and fix it before before you have to sign the paperwork and move out. Right?
Yep.
There's a lot of stress when you're under that contract phase. So if you can get a pre-inspection, his company will go in, do a full home inspection, and really let you know, hey, these are minor things, and maybe these are a few major things that will probably get discovered when you go to list this home for sale. And let's address them now and have repair people come out over time when your budget will allow, because you might not be listing the home for sale right away.
Right.
Some people, if they do this right, they should be having conversations 6 months before they're ready to sell. Am I right, Kevin?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can help them with that, right?
And also you can actually use that home inspection report to your advantage, because you can use it as a marketing tool to let the buyers know, especially if they're a first-time home buyer, say, hey, look, we've already done the inspections, we've already made the repairs on the inspections that were in that report, and you can offer to share that report with the buyer with a good offer. And not only that, the inspector may even come back and re-inspect the home. I know they do that. And they can come back and re-inspect the home
and say it's been addressed.
It's been addressed for a little extra cost, but it'll be less money than a brand new inspection. So you can use that to your advantage to market your home as well.
Perfect. Awesome. So that's step number 6 we just talked about, was consider a pre-inspection and our 9 strategies to getting your home ready to sell quickly. So our next step really is being careful not to overprice the home. And this is really kind of tricky balance, wouldn't you say, Kevin? Because you mentioned at the beginning of the show that we're in a seller's market, which means we're getting multiple bids, and people in many cases are paying not the list price, but actually above what it's listed for just to get the home.
Right.
So then how do you know really where to price it, and what's the danger of overpricing? How about that? That was a lot to throw at you.
Yeah. Well, that's where it's important to find the right real estate agent that knows the market and knows the neighborhood to help you out with that. We do a market price analysis and comparative market analysis out there to determine what is the price that this home could sell for at this time. And that's really important, because you do not want to overprice the market and to be priced out of the marketplace. Because if you are, then you're just going to wait on showing some buyers that may not come right away. And right now it's better to even maybe be right at the average pricing for that neighborhood, or even a little bit below, because that could generate some competitive
frenzy
bids.
around getting it, because it's priced really good.
Right, and I've experienced that before, where a seller of mine received about $8,000 more than the asking price, even though it was priced right. Wow. But we went down on the lower end, so she received $8,000 extra than what we really asked for. So you really need to watch the market, know what things are selling. And a lot of people look at what's listed right now. That's not really what's important. It's important to look at what sold.
What just sold
recently and for what price. And you really need to be honest. Sellers, sometimes they're not honest with themselves. They need to compare the condition of their home to whatever just sold, and kind of really make a decision. Is my home equivalent to that house that just sold in condition, curb appeal, and all of that? All of that is counted in. And that's when, again, photography comes very helpful because you want to stage your home to the best of your ability.
Right. And document that it looks
right.
Right.
Yes.
Well, very good. We're going to take a quick break again. You're listening to Reshair Radio, so stay tuned. We'll be right back for our very last segment. This is Chris Reshaar, your host of Reshair Radio. As a mortgage professional, we interact with several industry-related professionals, and we see the good, the bad, and the ugly. When I have a choice to select a closing attorney either to purchase or do a refinance, I choose John Ringer with Hutchins Law Firm. He is a legal professional, and he covers commercial and residential transactions. More than just a closing attorney, John wants to be your attorney for life. He can provide you insights you need to make accurate and informed legal decisions. As a Charlotte native, John has witnessed the tremendous growth and development of our city and region. As a part of Hutchins Law Firm with more than a quarter century of experience and 400 years of collective combined legal experience, they have what you're looking for. They have offices in Charlotte, Fayetteville, Wilmington, and Columbia, South Carolina. Please give John a call if you need an attorney, the right attorney, at 980-275-9810. That's 980-275-9810.
Sports fans know that the key to winning the big game is going in prepared. Right now, houses are selling fast. So if you're in the market for a new home purchase, don't just be prepared, be Movement Mortgage prepared. Charlotte's leading mortgage lender, Chris Reshaar at Movement Mortgage will tee you up with a free, fully underwritten, upfront pre-approval. Shop for the home of your dreams, already backed by an upfront pre-approval at Movement Mortgage. Call Chris today at 704-277-4463 or find Chris at www.themortgagegenius.com. Go into the game prepared with Chris Reshaar of Movement Mortgage.
Welcome back to Reshair Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Reshaar, licensed loan officer with Movement Mortgage. I do need to say at least once during the show that my MLS license number is 117266 and that Movement Mortgage is an equal housing lender. I think it's in my intro, but we got it out there just to be safe. And we've been talking with Kevin Rayan from Wilkinson URA Real Estate, right?
Yes, got it.
And Julie Legge from Charlotte Real Estate Photos.
Got it.
All right. And we're really just hitting on 9 steps or strategies to sell your home fast. And it really just illustrates to me, Kevin, as we're really rolling out the last 2 steps here, the power of working with a professional realtor and the power of working with a professional photographer.
Yes.
That you guys have such insight and talent that, sometimes people say, well, I'll just try to sell this on my own. Well, did you consider professional photography and home staging? And did you consider the pricing strategy we just went over before the break in terms of not to overprice your home, right? We also know research shows that somebody that lists their home for sale with a realtor is going to generate a higher sales price than someone that sells on their own, even though people that sell on their own don't necessarily see that all the time. And I know there's commissions you have to pay and all that jazz, but you might be able to, through all these steps, these 9 steps we're telling you, to get the top dollar for your home. So let's go into, we have 2 more steps we're really talking about today. The next one really is more about being reasonable in the negotiation process. So you've done all the things that we've talked about. You've deep cleaned, you've decluttered, you've gotten Julie out there to take professional photos after the home staging if you had it staged. You did your pre-inspection to make sure there's no surprises on the inspections. You've done all this stuff and you've priced it fairly with your realtor, Kevin. Now we're on the market and an offer comes in. How does a buyer and a seller create a win-win situation there in terms of the negotiating process, Kevin?
Well, I mean, they both of them really need to put themselves in the other person's shoes. And so I
don't want to do that.
Yeah, but
go ahead. Don't listen to me, listeners. Listen to him.
I tell my sellers, Chris, I tell them just be prepared to be offended. And because sometimes, someone's going to ask you to do too much or lower your price way too much. But honestly, again, I go back to pricing it right. If the house is priced correctly, you're not going to be disappointed with the offers that come in.
Because the realtors are going to know, and they're going to advise their buyers, you better put in a full price offer or be aggressive here because the house is going to go.
Right. And unfortunately, some buyers may think, oh, you're just trying to make more money off of this, but that's not the case. I mean, we're just trying to advise you to put your best foot forward as a buyer to that seller so you can be guaranteed to get that home.
Yeah, it's like The Bachelor, right?
Yes. So
they don't wear a junkie dress when they stand in line. They're wearing their best dress, right?
Exactly. So
look as cute as possible.
That's right. So you do need to, put the best offer that you can, especially in this market. With the seller, you really need to put yourself in the buyer's shoes. Like, would you want to move into a house where maybe something's fallen apart or something that really needs to be addressed and fixed? And that's, again, why a home inspection before the listing may come into place, and it's important because you will know what your house needs to get it ready for the market.
Absolutely. I remember a few years back when we had sold a property and the house had just been on the market. We had gotten an offer, and it was, I don't remember, $10,000 or $20,000 below our asking price, and they asked for all of our flat screen TVs. And I was just like, okay, we had this house look perfect. You know, I put so much effort in, and I did. I kind of got like, no, I'm not selling this house to these people. They're not taking my TVs. They're not taking this. That's not even real property, right?
Right.
It wasn't even on the wall. Okay, it was on a TV stand. It wasn't affixed to the house.
Right.
And and then of course, the buyer's agent, we basically just rejected the offer, and they came back with a fair offer, and we ended up selling it to that family. But it's amazing how, especially if you've really gone through all these 9 steps that we're talking about, it's a lot of effort, energy, time, money. I mean, you're out of your house, you're getting it cleaned, you can't, you got to wipe the counter with crumbs every time you make a piece of toast, like you're dancing around on eggshells in your own home, right? Like trying to make sure this house is ready to go. And then you get an offer, and it's very easy to feel offended. It really is.
Right.
And you manage that effort. It's like, I don't know why every realtor doesn't have a degree in psychology, because you're doing that dance with the client on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of people do get offended, and they take it personal. And
it is, because it feels very personal, especially after the heroic effort that you just went through over 3 to 6 months to have the house perfect for the next buyer to get a fair offer.
And I'll give an advice to the seller. Like, a lot of times when you receive that first offer, that may be the best offer you'll receive, because the first offer, like a lot of times a client will tell me, you know what, just decline the offer. We'll just put it back on the market. But that's not always a great strategy, because are you really going to receive another offer, especially if the other offer was reasonable, but they want you to make some repairs or do certain things? Just continue negotiating to keep the deal going, to keep it moving smoothly, and that will create a win-win situation for both parties. It shouldn't be a fight between both parties. It should be a mutual interest, a mutual win-win situation for everybody.
Sure, absolutely. And every day that you're on the market, you put it back on the market. It's another month worth of mortgage payment, another month of insurance, another month that your life isn't moving on. And a lot of times I think, sellers can even dig their heels into the point where they're hurting themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, let's go to the very last strategy, and that's really being willing to address repair issues that come up. I mean, people can say, guess what? I'm selling this house. We've done all these things, and it's sold as is. But if you've got some issues, maybe you didn't do that pre-inspection with Home Inspection Carolina, a buddy over at Preston Salem there. Maybe you didn't do that pre-inspection, and we did find a major issue. It may not only be an issue that scares any buyer off, because it will get discovered on the next buyer and the next buyer and the next buyer, but it also could be a lending issue.
Yeah.
So, for example, if the air conditioning system isn't working properly, the appraiser could turn the air conditioner on and just feel heat come out, and the lender is going to say, well, we're not doing this loan, unless the HVAC has been fixed.
Exactly.
Right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword there, in that, selling a home as is can be risky, because it's going to potentially scare that perfect offer you got, full price or above full price, and they're saying, you know what, we need you to sell out $2,500 to have this fixed, because we can't even get financing without it. But you've seen it before where the seller goes, no, we're not doing that, and then they end up turning around, maybe selling the house to somebody else, and the issue gets discovered again. Right. And you had a perfectly good buyer, probably at a better price than the second buyer.
Exactly. And I've almost had that problem happened recently, but I maintained the seller focus.
They came around.
Because let me tell you, if the buyer uses someone like Preston and his crew at Home Inspection Carolina, they're really good at what they do, and they will discover problems. So don't wish it away, because it's not going to happen. The sellers, sometimes they think, maybe they're not going to know, they're not going to see it. It's going to get discovered, and it's going to come at a time where you only have 2 weeks to fix it. So it's best to make sure you understand the issues of your home and get it ready ahead of time, and address the repair issues ahead of time as soon as you know about it. And that's really important. And I know sometimes maybe the finances, do not help, but you can always negotiate with the buyer to maybe give them a credit at the closing.
Right, towards their closing costs kind of thing. Towards
closing costs, and maybe make their pay the contractor at closing, from the sale proceeds.
Right, that makes perfect sense. So, and another real quick before we sort of wrap up the show, the other thing is that they consider doing a home warranty, and I think you had mentioned this.
Yes.
Home warranty can add some additional protection for that buyer.
Yep.
For a whole year, typically, after they've moved into the home. So maybe you don't do all of the repairs, you address the major ones and let the minor ones be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, but we'll put a warranty on this home so that if something major falls,
yes,
breaks, whatever, that the buyer's not stuck with a big fat bill.
Exactly. And for our listeners today, if somebody's listing their home, I'm willing to offer a free home warranty that will cover your house during the listing period and 12 months after the home is sold for the buyer. So you can use that as a negotiation tool. In addition...
but wait, there's more.
Yes.
Well, wait, there's more. Go ahead.
So I'm also offering a guide to selling your home. That way you can use it as a tool to make sure your home is being prepared. That does not replace the staging. You always should get a stager, but it will help you kind of walk around and see what needs to be fixed. So
how can they get that information?
Well, you can always call me. My phone number is, my direct line is 704-390-8859. You can also go on my website, Realty NCSC, that's for North Carolina, South Carolina.com, and contact me that way, and I'll give you details. Just make sure you say that you heard about it through
Reshair
Radio.
There you go, Kevin.
And I will definitely honor that. So
that's sweet. So you got a guide and a home warranty, which is typically valued around $500.
That's right.
Sweet.
Yes.
Julie, since you've been our photographer guest on the show today, why don't you share with our listeners your special offer?
Sure. For listeners, if you mention Reshair Radio, I'm happy to provide 20% off of a photography order.
Wow, that's great.
Awesome.
So we're saving a lot of money for our listeners here today, and we've got real professionals that are waiting to help you if you're planning on selling your home anytime soon. So I'm going to wrap up the show and thank our guests for being on today. Thank you both.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just want to remind you that if you have any services that you need from me, either now or into the future with your mortgage loan services, my number is 704-277-4463. That's 704-277-4463. My website is themortgagegenius.com. Yep, there's only one of us.
That's right.
Or one of me, right? Themortgagegenius.com. And then really just going to wrap it up with, if you basically didn't catch the whole show, you can listen to this show or any show in its entirety on reshairradio.com. That's reshairradio.com, and you can find our sponsors, find our guests, and any information you need to know about real estate, finance, etc. So thank you again for listening to Reshair Radio. We'll be back next Sunday, and we hope you all have a great week.
Thanks.
You've been listening to Reshair with Chris Reshatar, a seasoned licensed mortgage consultant with Movement Mortgage, equal housing lender. Originator license number 117266. Learn more online at themortgagegenius.com. Sports fans know that the key to winning the big game is going in prepared. Right now, houses are selling fast, So if you're in the market for a new home purchase, don't just be prepared, be Movement Mortgage prepared. Charlotte's leading mortgage lender, Chris Reshair at Movement Mortgage, will tee you up with a free, fully underwritten upfront pre-approval. Shop for the home of your dreams, already backed by an upfront pre-approval at Movement Mortgage. Call Chris today at 704-277-4463 or find Chris at www.themortgagegenius.com. Go into the game prepared with Chris Reshair of Movement Mortgage.
When choosing an insurance agency, you want a company you can trust. We are an independent insurance agency that can protect your personal assets, a true one-stop solution provider. We do not work for an insurance company. We work for you. As an independent insurance agency, our duty is to our clients' best interests. It is our responsibility to provide you the best service and the best coverage at the best possible price. You will have the added benefit of working with agents who understand your needs. After visiting our website, we will schedule an exploratory appointment to discuss your specific needs. Please visit our website at www.movementinsurance.com. That's www.movementinsurance.com.